Hey, 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 here we are again. That's Robert, I'm Susan, and we are deep into having fun thinking about a reunion of the first two cohorts that talked about Star Wars and the second two cohorts that talk about prison and the Shawshank Redemption. And I'm thinking about where I want to go with it, what to do with it. And I learned that Venetia, one of our family, has really taken on your challenge to help get these stories out into the world and is creating a format. And I'm condensing and rewriting my own story in a way that it won't be as big in many words. It'll be smaller, which is always a good thing, um, but more pointed. And I'm so valuing having this opportunity.
When people think of telling their story, I think sometimes they limit themselves and think, oh, does that mean I'm writing a book? As if a book were the only way to share a story. And one of the things that the internet and a website provides us is, in fact, anything you could possibly imagine, from a book to a series of poems to a weblog to video logs to podcasts to you know any of these things, to use your story in some fashion and twist it and share it and bring it forward. The point is to do that, is to engage an audience in this multifaceted part of you that in turn inspires, empowers, and helps people see more of the truth of what it is to be a person with Parkinson's. And again, that person first, so important.
And the Parkinson's part is, I don't want to say optional, it doesn't need to be central.
Correct. Yeah.
And it also dawned on me how I'm going to do that today. And it was in reading somebody else's reflections.
I think you said something really dynamic. I'm going to back up just a second on, is that I think this has to do really importantly with what you just said about living well with Parkinson's, is that in order to live well with it, I think maybe it's best not to have it be central, right? To be in a managed, fluid state, to not keep it hidden so that it's not there, but also not to make it so central that it's all you do, because you're not Parkinson's. So how can I hold it in a place that's seen and I see, and yet doesn't dominate? It doesn't take over. That, I think, that's the ongoing wrestling match, and to allow for it to be that, to say there it's going to be fluid. At times it's going to maybe move here, and at times it can move there. It's just, the truth is, it's not going to go away right now. So how do I form this positive relationship with this thing?
One of the answers to that question happens to every one of us who has been going around saying, I have Parkinson's. It's like you're burdened with it. It's like this thing that's draped over you. When we learn to say, to use the language differently so that you're less sounding like a victim, but um, Parkinson's doesn't have me. That kind of thing. I'm living with Parkinson's. It's like one of the many things I'm doing. And this work it truly does go beyond the application of what our writing program does is way beyond Parkinson's.
The power of using the language differently. I loved what you just said right there. I think that's really central, because the words we use, and by the way, I think those words are very often handed to us by structures and powers that be in institutions, right? And the point is, we get to choose which of those words we want to internalize, whether they came from a doctor or a foundation or a celebrity or anybody else. Are they our words? Do they really fit our lives? And if they don't, guess what it's time to do? Rewrite.
And this program has multiple components to giving you a chance to learn new stuff, like there are no wrong answers. Oh my gosh, that's so freeing. And when you get a chance to apply that, or when you learn the value of, I heard you say, and many others, I love the idea of getting together with people who've done this sort of from soup to nuts, from soup to wherever we are now. We might be in the middle of the discovery process. It's going to be a lovely time.
Let's come back and wrap this up with one more episode of Final Invitation. This is day one. This is day one of the daily dose of dopamine.